For the queens, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and booty walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun-kissed goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti, black girl magic, melanin popping, whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, dog. When God made you, boo, you know he showed out. Mahogany enchantress, blessings overflow now. Picture of success, seductive silhouettes on a spiritual quest. Manifest and be blessed. Mother, sister, auntie, tribe of Ashanti. Rocking your locks, I got a close crop blondie. The curse and the gift, uplift, apply pressure. Nothing like a black girl getting a shift together. Nothing like a black girl getting a shift together. Nothing like a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. This is a podcast about mental health and wellness, as well as self-empowerment for Black women. I'm your host, Ursula. I'm a transformation life coach and a mental health and wellness advocate. And each week, I promise to deliver relevant topics and resources that affect our community so that we can ignite that fire from within. Yes, this is season 3. We are halfway through it, and it has been simply amazing. So just keep tuning in. If this is a replay, definitely type replay in the comment box. If you're here right now listening live, why don't you type wherever you're from? Tell me hello. Make sure and tell my special guest hello. I want you to visit my website, blackgirlsgettingtheirshifttogether.com. There are coaching packages as well as digital merchandise, digital products, and merch, as you see, like my t-shirt I'm wearing here. Also, if you're listening on YouTube, please subscribe, but not only subscribe, but I'd love for you to hit that bell so that you can receive all notifications that come through when I post. And if this is the audio podcast, make sure, leave your girl a review. You know, it really helps podcasters. It took me to become a podcaster to really understand how the reviews really help. Because I know you're going to give me a 5. All right. So enough with the housekeeping. I have a beautiful guest that's in the waiting room, and I adore this sister so much. Hello, attending physician. You love my glasses? Thank you, sis. Patrice. Hi, Patrice. Oh, I love Patrice's voice and her insight. Okay, y'all just make me excited. Those are my YouTube sisters. I'm going to bring my beautiful guest out of the waiting room. Hello, Cerita. How are you, my dear?
I am wonderful and so very happy to be here with you. So thank you. Thank you for having me.
You look so glowy today. What did you do earlier? So glowy.
A few things.
Yeah, it looks good on you.
You meditated.
Yeah, I love meditation.
Thank you.
With that being said, we're going to get right into this. So we have a few new people online. I hear a little feedback.
What about now?
I do not. I do hear it just a little bit.
Okay.
No worries. We're going to do a little something here. So while that's being worked out, there we go. Yeah, so while that's being worked out, so some people are new on here, like Patrice and Sherry. So, and there's a lot of other new people. Can you tell people what kind of therapist you are and what made you become a therapist? You know, for those who don't know, Cerita is an old show of The Friend and definitely a fan favorite. But can you tell people about yourself?
I sure can. I love to. Well, to be quite honest, I am your ratchet and righteous relational trauma expert, therapist, and trauma coach. And I help women heal the heartbreak of relational trauma so that they can experience more authenticity, self-trust, and really embrace divine and intimate relationships.
That resonates with me. And if it resonates with anyone, please put some light bulbs in the comments section, the light bulb emojis. Yeah, I feel like a lot of us have gone through relationship trauma and didn't know. I didn't even know that that was a thing until I started doing some inner work. And yeah, wasn't a good feeling.
Well, I would say that it may not be a good feeling for those of us who are on the path of getting our shift together, but it was
Yes.
so freeing for me to learn and for me to understand that the challenges that I had in my relationships stemmed from the challenges, the chaos, the neglect or abuse that I experienced as a child through my relationships. And that's really how we begin what looks like sometimes is repeated patterns of toxic relationship interactions. So it can be difficult. It could be a hard pill to swallow, but I'm telling you that medicine can give you the freedom that you've been looking for in all kind of ways, in all kinds of directions, but by really healing you.
Yeah. So, yeah, that pill is literally, the pill is this big and there's no water and it's so hard to go down. But I think you're going to be just what we need to quench that thirst and make it go down easier, right?
Absolutely. I think with the right tools, you can break it down. And really, when I say break it down, what I mean is how you perceive your past, your experiences, and your power. Because see, what happens with trauma, especially if it happens in childhood, is that you experience a powerlessness to change, especially with something like relational trauma, which is complex trauma. And that is trauma that happens repeatedly over time. And so there's what's called a hopelessness that can set in. But when you can shift, that's the word of the day. When you can shift, you recognize that you can view not just your experience, but your entire life from a more empowered perspective. And knowing that you have access to tools that are within you and tools that you can learn to handle not just your past experiences, but everything in life from a more empowered perspective. Go ahead.
I love that. I love the shift part and I love the power of it. But before we get into deep, because I know you about to peel back some layers,
Okay.
I want to let everybody know the motivation for my show today, this topic. And it's Put a Ring on It. I know a lot of people have watched. Hi, Lakita. Great conversation. She's saying greetings. Let me get some shout outs already. So the motivation is Put a Ring on It, and it's a show that comes on OWN. and it's about three couples. Well, there's a couple in particular, Lex and Darion. In my opinion, it was very abusive, and that's why I have the expert on here to peel back the layers on it. However, watching the show, or excuse me, watching the comments, and a lot of people were calling Lex stupid and why is she staying? You know, did you know that they were in a relationship for 14 years and he never put a ring on it and outside kids were involved? Did you see a little bit, some snippets of the show?
I did. I
Okay.
watched what was online. I watched one of her lives. I did.
Okay. So you get the gist of it. And I can see both sides, because if I had not done some self work, I would have been that, and I have been that person. She's stupid for staying, but with the self work, now I know that, in my opinion, everything goes back to childhood. And then you just said that, or some kind of childhood experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, that's my motivation. So I just wanted to get your opinion on what is your definition of a trauma bond in a relationship,
Okay.
a
So
romantic relationship.
okay. Now, before I address the trauma bond, I want to say that in her relationship, and actually I'm going to give you some examples because I'm hesitant to judge and to label.
Exactly.
At the same time, from a objective and healed experience, we have to be able to call a thing, as Iyanla says. We have to be able to look at something for what it is, because trauma distorts our ability to do that. And you told me about the show, and what I thought was interesting from my own watching the show, from the perspective, I was just so caught up is the best word I can think of it. It was like the things that Darion was saying. Like, I heard her talk about what she wanted, but what she wanted did not match up with the reality of who he was, who he showed himself to be, and even what he said he wanted for the future. And, there was the conversation about, he doesn't communicate well. Oh, he communicates very well. You're just not listening. You are looking at it and experiencing it for what you want it to be. So you brought up childhood, and
Yes.
I looked for some things. I didn't see anything where she talked about her childhood experiences specifically. So I want to be clear that I don't know what her childhood entailed. Okay.
Right.
Did you ever hear her say anything on the show?
Well, she said that she grew up in a household, from my recollection, she grew up in a household where people were together. Marriage was
Okay.
a thing. I suppose that with Darion, he didn't see that growing up. So, yeah, I mean, I grew up in a 2-family household. So, you know my backstory.
I do.
Means nothing, and it can mean something at the same time.
I do. I think that, see, when we talk about trauma, particularly complex trauma or relational trauma, as I mentioned earlier, it's trauma that happens over time, and it could be emotional, physical, sexual abuse, or neglect. Emotional neglect is a very common one that I know for many of us we experienced and don't even realize it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And emotional neglect really is equated to emotional abandonment. So if you had parents who were present physically, but they were either emotionally shaming, dismissive, dishonoring your experience, your perceptions, your thoughts, your emotions, judging them, what that really causes the child to experience is being devalued. And so the message, the communication that the child receives is, I'm unworthy, I'm not good enough, I'm defective. And there's been decades of trauma research to show this. Emotional neglect is just as dangerous to the developing mind, confidence, and self-esteem of a child as any other trauma. It's the
Yeah.
invisible scars. So having two people, two parents in a home means absolutely nothing. What's important is how they relate, because that's what the child is going to model. If the child sees two people who are loving and communicate well, that's what they will come to seek and expect in their partners. If not, you get trauma bonds.
Wow. Okay, you brought that full circle, and it is a trauma bond. And well, you know what? Listen, look at this right here. Miss Latoya.
Ah,
That's
listen. Thank you, because I am the queen of self-love, and you are. This is my request for anyone who does watch the show, and not even just about the show. I had some questions, okay, about Lex and Darion after watching it. But what I also recognize is it takes so much courage to put yourself in all of your darkest secrets and things that you might not want people to know and see, and you are willing to be vulnerable in an effort to get some help and support. I applaud her and I respect that. And people who are so quick to judge and criticize, most of these people aren't even honest with their mamas. They damn sure ain't honest with they boyfriends, okay? And even some of these people who talking the most shit, they in trauma bonds with their friends. Your friends ain't loyal. Your friends don't respect you. Your friends don't hold space and create emotional safety for you. So we need to take this opportunity, I think, all of us, to look in the mirror and recognize, okay, I see this. And if I'm feeling so activated by it, why is that? Could there possibly be something in my life that I'm denying, that I'm dismissing, that I'm avoiding, that I ain't talking about because I'm so busy talking about other folks?
exactly. That's why it was triggering to me, because I've been her. It just may have looked different,
Exactly.
but there's been
Exactly.
several times where I've
Exactly.
ignored red flags, or I had that, what is it, that cognitive dissonance where I just made up my own story and I chose not to see
Exactly.
what the situation, what it really was. Or I just decided to put on my rose colored glasses and skip along
And
until the next.
I know I have. And the thing is, everything that you talked about is how uh people, because it's not just women, but how anyone can end up being attracted to a narcissist or manipulator, because of who they are, they will naturally take advantage over one's tendency to deny, avoid, dismiss. So people will say you need self-love, and I agree, because I'm a fan of self-love, but we also have to have self-awareness and the ability to self-reflect, because it is the lack of those things that cause us to get into those relationships in the first place.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this, Sarita. Oh, wait, first of all, I see a lot of chatter in the comments, which is amazing. I'm going to drop the link soon if anyone would love to come on and respectfully ask Sarita any questions. She is more than open. And
I
all
am.
this talking, I have to sip on my coffee a little. So I'm going to drop a link. And if you'd love to buy your girl some coffee, I will put a link. Matter of fact, let me do it right now.
Do it now, honey. I love it.
Yeah, let me do it now. And if you love to buy me a coffee, I sure would appreciate it. And the funds will definitely, there we go. It's already dropped.
All right
Will
then.
fund the creation process of this platform.
Yes.
Cheers to that.
I love it, honey. That's right. Send her some coins, because she works hard to help us get our shift and keep our shift. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So, what does it look like in a relationship, the trauma bonding?
Oh, girl. See, the reason why most people end up in a trauma bond is because a manipulator or narcissist, listen, they are predators. So they know how to seek out their prey and look for your wounds and pretend and mirror you. Because, I see on the internet, everyone's learning the verbiage, right, that we use in psychology, because they will create the illusion that they can meet your needs, that they can give you what you want, that I can be the love that you've been looking for and give you all the things that you didn't get as a child. or even as an adult. So it's a fantasy that they sell by what's called love bombing. So they will build this, it's really a false connection because it's not true intimacy because they're not showing you who they are. They're showing you a mask.
It sounds
And
like a false narrative that they give.
it is the fantasy, it's the love bombing, it's the, I will make you feel appreciated and valued, and I will make you feel that I am your soulmate, because that's how we bond. Our defenses come down, and now we open ourselves up, which is the second step of gaining trust and developing dependency. You notice I said dependency and not intimacy. Okay. Those things are two very, very different things. And dependency, the way it's usually done is I will give you what it is that you want, that I showed you I can give you, but it's like it's intermittent. So this intermittent displays of affection and love and trust, because after I know that I got you, I'm going to make you work for it.
Oh my
Because our
God.
relationship becomes built around you being and doing who I want you to be so that you can earn this love. But the thing is, you'll never be able to do enough for them to love you completely in the way that it was in the beginning, because it was never fucking real in the first place.
Right. It's the tug, the push and
It's the
pull.
breadcrumbs, right? It's the
Yeah, the bread.
intermittent reinforcement.
Oh my God. And I can see where he's done that and where I've been in that situation
Yes, I know it.
where it's truly I'm gonna give you just enough on this little fish line, and then I'm gonna reel it back in,
I'm a real
throw it out, reel
because
it
see,
back
it's not
in.
really love. It is a form of manipulation that's dressed up and served as love.
Mm.
And so when you get to the dependency, that's when they shift to the criticism. So that's when all the things that I said that I loved about you, or all the things that are great about you, I'm going to let you know that you ain't all that you think you are, that you need to do better, that you need to do more. Because, see, really, how great and fantastic you are to a narcissist or manipulator, you're showing me how shamed and broken I am. See, that's why I can't tolerate it, because it's not really me. I'm not this great, wonderful, loving person, because I'm not even in contact with my own love. Because if I was, I would be busy loving instead of using. You see what I'm saying?
Right. So going back to this comment I just posted, and thank you, Miss Latoya Barton, for your comment. She said, yes, they study you and they see what you lack of, especially single mothers. What are your thoughts on the single mothers part?
I find that very interesting,
Yeah.
because the way that it's said and the comments that I've heard out in the internet universe is that single mothers are lacking there. And from my opinion, I think the perception is that they're easier to manipulate. And I think, from my perspective, that when you have a mother, now there's a lot of conversation about what she should have did or who she shouldn't choose. Listen, people end up where they are. I'm not commenting on that. But what I do know is that abandonment is damaging. It's
Yeah.
damaging. So if she's been abandoned, if the father, if the male abandons the mother, or basically if he abandons the child, he's also abandoning the mother. And which means that she must then abandon any hopes and dreams that she had as for a family, a father figure, a confidant, a supportive person. I was raised by a single mother. I saw nothing but single women around me, taking care of children. Did I
Right.
see some that were abused, that were taken advantage of? Absolutely. And it
Right.
had such an impact on me that I said I would not have children.
Right.
And I think that plenty of single mothers end up in the situation that they're in, not because they're bad or not because they're broken, but because they are mirroring, they are reenacting their own childhood trauma. So if my father abandoned me,
Oh my
and I
God.
grew up seeing, not with my father, not with my protective figure, not with someone who took care of me, but if my mother didn't have, a stepfather or a husband that she married, or she just had boyfriends in and out, then my foundation, my blueprint for love is that men are not trustworthy. Men are not consistent. Men cannot be relied upon. So the only thing I can do, unless I get my shift together, the only thing I can do is go out and attract the same man. Repetition, compulsion, the compulsion to repeat is a symptom of relational trauma.
Oh
So
my
you can heal
God.
it or you can reenact it.
And she did reenact it because they were together for 14 years. And every time he threw that fishnet, and every time he reeled it back, he came back with a child. He came back with 3 children. Okay. But as Patrice Garner said, narcissist, which I'm not calling him that because I'm not a therapist, but he's definitely a master manipulator. And this is,
Oh, yes, go ahead.
Just that this isn't male bashing by any means. I mean, this is what it is. That is manipulation and gaslighting at its finest for you to say, well, we weren't together at that time, but we have all these children.
He did say that from clips that I saw, and she said it as well. And gaslighting is stage number 4 in trauma bonding. So stage 4, gaslighting. Stage 5 is resignation. So
what is resignation?
Resignation is you give up. So it's like you're getting absolutely nowhere with the usual problem solving methods that one could employ with someone who is reasonable. But see, narcissists and manipulators, they lack the ability to reason. And I'm going to explain that in just a minute. So the discussions that you might try to have, you know, the muscles that one who is reasonable and the people who got damn sense, you would be able to have conversation. But when you're with the manipulator, they have become so well at shifting and perverting reality that attempting to reason with them can be painful and exhausting. So you just give up. Like, you know, everything I do, it doesn't work. And that is, in all actuality, that is how we become traumatized in the first place. You may have recalled that I mentioned that earlier, that helplessness, that powerlessness.
Yes.
Oh, well, this is the way it is. And then that results in stage 6, which is the loss of self.
Ooh.
So an attempt to push back against the way that things are in a relationship, especially when there's extreme emotional manipulation or abuse from your partner, you know, your families and friends done seen it. They're concerned about you, and your confidence and esteem is absolutely impacted. So when you start walking on eggshells, and some of us were taught to do that as children, but when you start walking on eggshells to avoid a fight or to avoid confrontation or an argument, then you are absolutely sacrificing yourself. You're no longer showing up in the relationship. You're no longer taking ownership of your voice, what you want, what you need, what you think. You are just trying to keep the other person happy.
Go ahead. Oh, excuse me. Go ahead. While what?
I was going to say, while you betray yourself. Go ahead.
Right. Because, you know, I was wondering, is that what it looks like when she was always making excuses for his behavior? And she would always, that's what it was. She was always making excuses for, I'm trying to zhuzh it up, but no, she was really always making excuses for his behavior. And I recognize that. I've done it.
It's interesting because from what I did see, she came with what seemed to be an explanation on why things were the way that they were. And this is common behavior from people who've been manipulated or are in emotionally abusive situations. And I think we all have to understand that this is what people do in order to stay in a situation. It's a defense mechanism.
How?
So my view of reality is now, because the only way I could be in this relationship, the only way you could be with a crazy motherfucker is for you to become crazy too. Okay, I'm not trying to zhuzh it up.
Look,
listen, I was crazy, cray, and had to get uncray. Okay, listen, I understand. This is why I can talk about it, because The only way that you can be with this person is for your sense of reality, your sense of processing, and the way you see things and the way that you accept things will have to be more in alignment with them. That's why it's a trauma bond. And so the making excuses, there's one word for that, and it's called denial. And
Yeah.
just like whether it's self-sabotage, whether it's I have an addiction, I'm eating, I'm sexing, I'm shopping, people make excuses for their behavior until they're ready to confront the truth. That's what it looks like. You're looking to justify it because if you're not ready to end the relationship, you must create this safe for you, because everybody else ain't buying it, because we on the outside looking like, well, that don't make no goddamn sense.
Right.
But for you, this is your strategy for trying to stay in the relationship and trying to make it work based on not reality, but what you have led yourself to believe that you need.
Right. And I believe people stay, again, guilty, stay in these relationships because after a while, it almost feels like it's time served. And you have so much invested, all that toxicity. You don't see it as that, but you have so much invested, you don't want to leave. But the eggshells become sharper and we still stay in it.
You know, the last stage of the trauma bond is the emotional addiction. And I have some notes here. So basically, at this point, your body is running on constant levels of high stress and craving for relief or pleasure. So this creates a cycle of dependency that can feel similar to substance addiction. So you probably have, and I would say that maybe, as we're talking about Lex, have some sense that the relationship is bad for you, but you are either making excuses for it, like your partner has a troubled past or trauma of their own, or they feel that they're unable to leave the relationship. So with an emotional addiction, then it goes back to the beginning where that intermittent reinforcement, where I am seeking to get that craving or that relief from the person who's also traumatizing me.
Mm.
And that can never work, because it's like, well, if I can get back to that love bombing, if I can get, because I know he's capable. And that story, that belief, that denial that people hold on to, that people use to get by, it keeps them in it until they are ready to admit the truth, because they know the truth. They know it. You fucking know it.
We know it. We have that intuition, that gut feeling, but we ignore it.
It's interesting because and I've said this to my clients, you know how you know? Because once you're out of the situation, you can recall every fucking instance where you
Yeah.
had a feeling in your gut, your stomach, your chest, your body, this sense of something ain't right. And you just pushed it down, squashed it down, repressed it, ignored it. But you are so powerful and you know what you know. But sometimes you don't want to admit that you know what you know.
May I put an asterisk on that too? Even after the fact, even take all of the emotional abuse, you could at least say, well, you know what? At least the sex was good. And that's still, even that's awful. And we still stay.
Well, well, you know, because you're in it, you're trauma bonded. You're
Yeah.
in it. And I mean, some people, the thing is, I think the stay, it takes some people longer to wake up more than others. And once you've like you said, if you've invested time, if you feel like you've invested time, that is just a perspective. And I think that is just an excuse that some people use, because you can look at the time that you've invested, and you can also look at the sacrifice, that the emotional well-being that you gave up in order to put the energy in and to invest. So you have to make a decision. Like, what's important, that I keep trying to work on this shit that's clearly broken, that or that will never be fixed, or am I going to allow myself to stay broken? because I feel like I have to stay in this situation, but I have to be broken in order to do so.
Wow, that's some deep stuff right there.
And
I'm
listen,
gonna
I was
and
just
what?
going to say, I send love to anyone in that situation. None of this is meant to judge.
Oh, not at all.
I just want
Matter of fact, I challenge anyone, if you've been in any, doesn't have to be exactly like their situation, but I really believe we've put other people's needs ahead of our own.
absolutely.
And if that resonates, put a red flag in the comment section, put a light bulb, say me, or put an eggshell.
Because you're
I'm
not
gonna,
alone.
oh, I know I'm not alone. This is definitely not a unique situation. I'm gonna read a comment from Blind Guy, his wife, and their life. It's messed up to have to transform to crazy in order to manage crazy behavior from others just to justify your bond. We all want bonds, and we will go to great lengths to have one.
We are
Yeah.
hardwired to bond to other human beings. It's a need for all humans to bond. We must feel like we belong somewhere and sometimes to someone. It's a part of being human.
Yeah.
And why I love, teaching trauma and learning about trauma is that when I understood attachment and how, when we're most vulnerable as children, if there's ever a point where the child has to choose between attachment or authenticity, the child will always choose attachment. They will become
Yeah.
who they need to be in order to be loved, in order to be taken care of, in order to be provided for. And so for some of us, that is how we learn to not just be in trauma bonds, but the behaviors, self-sacrificing behaviors that are required for crazy relationships. And it takes
Mm.
work to choose authenticity, to reconnect with your authentic self over the idea of being loved or having some unmet need from childhood being fulfilled by another human being.
Wow. Whew. That is a word. I really pray she does get through this. And maybe this, not maybe, this was a blessing in disguise. You can't run from it anymore.
I think she will be fine. I think she
Why
will
do you
be
say
fine.
that?
Because at the end of the day, I think that we can try to run from the truth and we can go through great lengths because plenty of human beings do. And most of us, if not all of us, at one time or another. But just the act of putting your entire relationship on a stage, it says a lot about not just her desire to get married, but who she is. And I don't imagine that if he is who we all seen him to be, he's not going to be able to maintain that mask with with the spotlight being on him in this way, and her being in a space where at least she's trying to get some help and support. She's talking to the therapist about what's going on. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? She's not hiding herself. And I have to commend her for that because
Wait, excuse me. You say she's not hiding herself, meaning I understand she's on this show, this platform, but I still think she's hiding behind him.
Tell me, when you say hiding behind him, what do you mean?
Well, everything is always about him. If she's talking to the therapist or when she's on these dates, she doesn't talk about herself. She's always still talking about her man.
So it's interesting because usually in a manipulative relationship, there's a narcissist and a co-narcissist or a codependent.
A co-narcissist? I never heard of that.
Yeah, they
Let me
use the
write that
term
down.
in some they use that term sometimes in psychology, like you have a narcissist and co-narcissist, because both are trying to get their needs met in the through the relationship. They're trying to fix each other's problems and solve each other's problems and fix each other, but they're not meeting their own needs. So the idea of a co-narcissist or codependent, because of who they are, codependency is also called relationship addiction. So if I'm addicted to my relationship, then that person is my drug. The relationship, trying to work on it. And some of these people can't even fucking be happy. If the person was to change and give them everything that they want, depending on their background, it's been cases that have shown that that person no longer is interested. They no longer want to be bothered, because they're addicted to the stress levels, the ups and downs. I'm trying to fix you. And then you fix yourself. I ain't got shit to do because I don't know who I am. I'm disconnected from myself. I'm disconnected from my needs. So my whole existence is around fixing you and helping you get better because you're my addiction. Then you get clean. What am I supposed to do? I'm addicted to you.
Right, just like the drug, like you said, like literally taking some coke.
And that's why they can be called a co-narcissist, because they may not be manipulative in the same way, but a codependent, someone who's looking for outside validation and self-worth, they are still manipulating in order to be loved. So if I'm giving to you, I'm doing for you, I'm needless and wantless, and I don't ask for anything, and all I want you to do is love me, then what I'm doing is I'm not doing it out of intimacy. I'm not doing it out of healthy love and balanced love. I'm doing these things just so you will love me. That is manipulation. That is not the foundation of a healthy, balanced relationship. And that's the thing people don't want to hear. You mean that all my niceness and loyalty is manipulation? Yes, boo. That's you. And you know, because if you're mad as fuck, every time they don't do what you say the way you want it to be done, you resent, get angry, you flip the fuck out. It's called the drama triangle. So you start out giving, loving, I'll be your all, and then you go into the resentment and then victim. Well, you use me. No, I didn't even ask you to do it, but you took it. I know, because I've been that person.
Right. So wait. So would you think that Alexia is in victim mode? Well, self-imposed victim mode unknowingly?
She very well could be. Like, I'm not saying that. I haven't watched enough of the show to say she's acting like a victim. But when, and I shouldn't say but, I should say and. When all of your energy and conversation is around getting him to do what you want him to do, even though he's been very clear. And it's all about what you want. Well, I grew up experiencing this. Well, this is what I need. And to say, well, she may not have said with her words that she's a victim, but the victim energy is, I've given you everything.
Yes.
And all I've asked you for is this. So you've given everything and not received anything, not asked for anything, not demanded anything, but the very thing that the motherfucker said he don't want to give you.
Damn.
And you think that you can give enough love to make him change? We've seen it time and time and time again. And we've probably done it once or twice. It don't fucking work. And it's manipulation. It's manipulation. I know, I thought I was really nice. I thought I was a ride or die. I wasn't. I would ride with you until I realized you wasn't going to do what the hell I wanted you to do. And then I was like, deuces, this is my stop. I've gone as far as I can go. You ain't listening. You don't follow directions well.
Right.
I'm divorcing you.
Wait, let me read this comment by attending physician. And this is so fat.
Being so real. Thank you.
She said, Oh, this is the realist here. If he is allegedly with the girl he slept with, that girl is going to show him hurt through violence. And I think she was guilty.
And they said, I saw some text, some posts about him being allegedly with the girl that he slept with, even though he told her he chooses another woman and she still wanted to be with him. Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I understand it all, but from what we know about narcissists and their behavior, I would not be surprised, because we know that's what narcissists do. Right? They discard and move on to the next, and do it in a way that feels emotionally violent. And then I'm going to make you look bad. I'm going to smear your name. I'm going to violate you as best I can without putting my hands on you.
Yes. Attending physician. I see what you're saying, Cerita, but I believe Lex has not shown the real her in the relationship. I agree with her on that. And I'm going to tell you why. She is giving a representative, but it seems rehearsed and forced, meaning she is trying too hard to make the viewer believe she's an innocent victim. The part that I agree with the attending physician is with her not showing her real self in the relationship is because she's not stating her needs. She is, but she's really not showing her authentic self. I don't believe she is. I've been there. She's not.
So let me be clear. What I meant is that she's showing herself. Now, who she is right now, that doesn't mean she's in contact or in tune with who she really is. That's part of what denial does. That's what trauma bonds do. So how we may see her as one thing, she sees herself, she experiences herself completely differently. So, I'm talking about the conscious self. Y'all talking about the unconsciousness. And I get it, because I don't think, from what I saw and from what I hear, I don't gather that she's in contact with her real self and her real needs, because she might believe that my need is that I wanted to get married. I want to be married to a man who loves me every now and again.
You said every now and again.
I mean, because that's what it is. You wouldn't be breaking up every goddamn 10 days, 15 days, or 30 days, whatever it is, if everything was all good.
Right.
So, I mean, I say that because for her to put whoever she is in the moment on the stage, I think she will be fine. And it may not look the way that we think it should look. But, we all make decisions when the pain becomes too great.
Hold on, let me while I sip my coffee.
I ain't got time to play Builder Man. See, Patrice
is not playing with it, okay? She's like, I'm sorry, there's not that much love for me. I ain't got time to play Builder Man. I agree with that. I'm with her. Before we go on, I'd love to pull that graphic up. Wait, before that, I see a lot of new family members on here. I'm gonna need you all to subscribe to the page. Okay? Stop playing with it. I definitely want to see that. And I so appreciate it. Thanking you in advance. Let's go to this infographic, because when I saw this, I thought of you instantly. And I said, you know what, Cerita will be the perfect person to break this down. So I'm going to show you all trauma bonding simplified. Can you all see this? Let me know if you're viewing this live, if you can see this infographic. So first, and this pretty much goes back to what Cerita was saying earlier in the live. The child experiences abuse and rejection and love growing up.
Okay, can I just add one thing here?
Yes, please.
Because this is what complex trauma or relational trauma looks like. You see, it has abuse plus rejection plus love. Do you see that? It's not just abuse and rejection.
Yes. And that's where the confusion comes in, especially with the child. Who can who
Well,
can dissect that?
Well, when you say, just like I was talking earlier about intermittent reinforcement. So a parent love can look like, I'll make sure that you have your clothes and shoes and you're fed, but I will not give you any emotional attention, any emotional validation or confirmation. If you show emotions or attempt to speak your mind, I will shut you down. So that's love with emotional abuse sometimes, or emotional neglect and rejection.
Oh my
You
God.
see how that's complex?
Triggering for sure. Yes, it is extremely complex and
So,
confusing.
well, I mean, because we're talking about parenting, because a child's needs are very clear. Healthy, for a healthy, thriving child. A child needs to be mirrored, needs to be validated, needs to be affirmed, needs to have emotionally mature parents that allows the child to mature emotionally, in their normal stages without having high expectations or shaming or perfectionism, because all of that equates to trauma. Does that make sense?
It does. Yes,
Okay.
indeed.
So then go ahead to the next one.
So the next one says a child associates love with abuse.
Do you see the connection here? Because of my experience, now love is pain. Being love comes with rejection, comes with possible abuse, comes with being devalued. That's the message that the child receives from their parents, the foundation.
Which it translates into adulthood. Ah, I see it. Okay, the next step is child learns to shut down their feelings.
Denial. Go ahead to the next one.
Child child blames themselves when bad things happen.
It's all my fault. I'm broken. I'm bad.
Mm. Child internalizes that love hurts.
That's
Wow.
it. So that child learned that love is pain. And so, what I will be attracted to is relationships that mirror my early childhood. So that attraction that I'm feeling, Darion is the one that's doing it for me because my dad or my mom was just like Darion.
Which spills over into the next step. Child grows up and meets a partner who is abusive emotionally. Mm.
Repetition compulsion, or the compulsion to repeat. If we don't heal our
Some
trauma, we will reenact it.
I ask my listeners right now, put in a light bulb in the comment section for me, because I'm not able to do that while I'm streaming, because this is hitting this is hitting me to the soul. Seriously, somebody put in a light bulb moment for me. Put that emoji up. Next step, adults shuts down their feelings and wants, and what is
And
it?
needs.
And
And needs.
needs.
So this is how I become codependent. Or you could become, a child could become a narcissist, because see, what a lot of people don't understand is this same trauma bonding happens for a narcissist. And the way that they deal is
Wait, what
by
does that mean? What does that look like?
a child who ends up becoming a narcissist. They are that way because they were abused or rejected or hurt or abandoned or betrayed. The foundation is the same for either the narcissist or co-narcissist or codependent. Does this make sense?
Yeah, I never knew. I just learned this. Like I was today years old, just learning this.
Well, I mean, this is why trauma is so devastating.
Oh my
So
God.
the way that they deal with, look, child blames themselves when bad things happen. That's toxic shame. They're toxically shame, meaning I'm defective, I'm broken inside. So if they're toxically shamed, the way that you deal with it is, I will become superior. I will never let anyone hurt me. I will wear a mask. I will be who people need to be so that I'm always in control and I'm always empowered. I
Oh
need
my
someone
God.
to validate me, validate me, validate me, validate me. And then the codependent is, well, I feel validated when I'm needed. I feel validated when I'm fixing. So do you see why those two are a complement? I feel validated when I'm, helping someone who had a bad childhood like me, and I'm stronger and I can handle it and I can make it better for him.
Okay, that trauma bond, like now it is crystal clear. Just that sentence right there. Oh my God, yeah.
You didn't even finish the graphic.
I know. I had to. I'm back. I've grounded myself. Next step: adult
Okay.
blames themselves for their partner's behaviors.
Yeah. See, now this is definitely more the codependent, because it goes back to, you see, child blames themselves. It's the same thing. So without healing our identity and self-perception, if we don't do the shifting, the work, the self-reflection, the self-awareness, the only thing we can rely upon is our old strategies, our old ways of thinking, our old views of the world, which is, when things go bad, it's my fault.
Mm.
And if you believe that when things go bad, it's your fault, like when you were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then you get 35 and you're in a relationship, if he's not happy or she's not happy, they are no longer in love with you or doing the things that they used to, then it must be my fault and I must fix it, because I'm a fixer. That's what I do.
But can you be a child or an adult and subconsciously not know that you want? I'm trying to get this out. Can subconsciously you think that you're okay, but really it's not
Let
there?
me lean into the mic. Fuck yes. How the fuck do you? If we all knew how fucked up we were, we wouldn't need black girls getting their shit together. Are you crazy? Did you know
God
I
damn.
was crazy? 'Cause I didn't know I was crazy. I thought I was cool. I thought I was a nice, helpful woman who would sometimes cuss you out when you didn't do what I wanted you to do. I didn't know. We would be in trauma bonds. They would be like, well, you know what? They would wake up like, you know what? I've realized I'm in a trauma bond and I'm codependent. And my self-worth has been linked to this person who's now no longer validating me. And I think today I'm going to take responsibility for it, because I see that I'm crazy and I will no longer put up with this masquerade and this foolishness and this play, this production that this person is being put on to get me to stay in love with them. I shall not do it any longer.
Yeah, you know what? That's why I was stumbling over my words, because subconsciously I did know that answer.
I know you know. You done did enough goddamn shows to know. Okay? That's all you do is talk about trauma every episode. I know
Oh,
you know.
I am crying right now.
Girl, you know I'm an
Okay,
actor,
wait.
baby. Go
Let's
ahead.
finish this graphic. Life interrupted. I do see your comment, and I'm going to read it because I love the question that you posed. But let me finish this graphic, and we're going to start wrapping it up because I have to go play tennis after this. Okay, the next step: adult strives to be good enough for their partner.
Yeah, I think I already covered that.
Yeah.
So it's not earning that love, that it's my responsibility. Because you know what? If I'm not good, let me break it down. If I'm not good enough, if my partner, the person who's supposed to meet all my needs, is not good enough, then that toxic shame that I've been feeling since a child must be true. I must actually be broken and defective.
Mind blown right there. God damn. Oh, next step: Partner reinforces this attachment by alternating between kind acts plus acts of rejection. That's that emotional pull and push, the fish line, and reeling it back in.
They doing it. They doing just what your mama and daddy did. I'm gonna love you sometimes. I'm gonna make sure you're good. I'm gonna, make sure you eat 3 meals a day. But don't come in here talking about what you want. No, I don't want to hear your opinion. No, what you saw, you didn't see that. No, I don't care how angry and explosive I am. I'm an adult. I can do that. You're a child in my property. No, I don't want it. What you crying for? I'm gonna give you something to cry for. You ain't allowed to be sad up in here. You ain't paying no bills. What you sad for? You ain't got to go to work tomorrow. Do I need to go on?
Girl, yeah, because every time you say something, it's hitting at that gut and that soul. And the last step on this infographic, adult makes excuses for partner and is, God, subconsciously, here we go, trying to feel good enough for their parents.
I don't even need to comment on that one.
Oh.
See, a lot of people don't want to. It's difficult to address the trauma bond, because if I do that, then I will have to address the pain that I've been holding on to for probably most of my life. And that's where people don't want to go. They like, shit, I'll stay with Darion rather than to deal with recognizing what my mama and daddy, the people who was really supposed to love me, did.
How about that?
And that's where we gotta go. That's where the truth is. That's where the freedom is.
This question I found very interesting. I said I was going to get back to it. Life Interrupted says, what if you have been both the narcissist and the co-narcissist?
You're crazy as hell. But no, seriously. There is a thing. There's all kind of terms for this similar behavior. So a narcissist can also be called a counter-dependent, and the codependent. So the codependent is, I'm needy, I'm clingy, I need you to love me and validate me. Where the narcissist is like, I'm avoiding love, I'm avoiding intimacy, I'm avoiding real attachment. And when we experience childhood trauma, depending at what age and what event, we can go between the two. That's how some codependents can be like, I love you, I'm around for you, I'm loyal, and then cut your ass off so quick, don't even talk to you, delete your number, see you on the street, boy, bye. But you just loved me last week. Bitch, that was last week.
Oh my God.
So you can, because really what we're talking about, and I hope all of you can understand, I hope I wasn't too high level with the psychology stuff, but what happens is at certain stages of development, children are naturally narcissistic. And then you have the stage where I think it's like 3 to 5, I have my list somewhere, where they become more independent. I don't need you. Does this make sense what I'm saying?
It does.
And what happens is they emotionally stay stuck at that level of emotional maturity.
Yes.
So if I'm counter-dependent, like narcissist, it's all about me. I don't need you, meaning I don't need you from an emotional standpoint. There's no emotional safety. There's no vulnerability. I'm completely shut down and shut off from any of that. Counter-dependent. Whereas a codependent is, I don't have no boundaries. I'm low-key desperate for love. Please love me. Please validate me. I need to be loved today. Codependent.
You said that word was counter-dependent?
Counter-dependent and codependent.
Oh my God.
We could do a whole show on that, but yes. So, I mean, that's what the emotional developmental stages are called, because we see that, because my child is in that counter-dependent stage right now. Everything is, I can do it. I don't need you to do it. I can do it myself. And I know that I have to give her the space to try it. And so that she can develop naturally, I stand back and let her know, when you want help, I'm here. But I also have to give her space to explore and figure things out for herself. Because if I interfere with that, I could interfere with her emotional development.
Wow.
Her sense of agency. Does that make sense?
It does. You know, it really does, because when I talk to you on the phone, I hear it. I get it. Yeah.
And I think that for a lot of us Black parents, we didn't get that growing up. Because it's
No,
like, you
ma'am.
need to do what I say, how I say, when I say.
Sit your ass down. Shut the hell up. Say what is it? Don't do what I say.
Say,
Say
do as I say, not as I
as
do.
I do. What stays in this home stays in this home.
Exactly. So the reason why a lot of us struggle is because there's no room for the child in these situations and circumstances and in the environment. Where does the child develop a sense of self? They're not allowed to. You're not allowed. And then some parents will view that as disrespectful, even though that's part of human development. A child must push boundaries. This is how they learn about the world. This is how they learn what to do, what not to do. But if you're overly strict or overly controlling, it can go one of two ways, where they don't try anything, they become hopeless and helpless and overly reliant or codependent, or
Wait,
they
is that the fawn? Is that how they turn into a fawn?
well,
Ish?
codependent, co-narcissist, and fawn are basically the same trauma responses, because that's what we're talking about. Trauma behaviors, trauma responses.
Understood. Let me put this. Let me read this. Life Uninterrupted said, and what if you know you're crazy? LOL. And still don't have the solutions.
Girl, you
Oh,
need to join Love University.
I was just about to say this is a good segue. Life Interrupted. Mwah.
Thank
We do.
you.
I am very solution based when I do my podcast. And this was an awesome segue because you are talking to the person that has a solution. So Cerita had mentioned learn to love you, learn university. And Cerita, can you talk about that? Wait, answer life uninterrupted questions, sis.
I would love to. Solutions, that's where I live. And when it comes to trauma, see, complex trauma or relational trauma, there's hope. Let me say that, because healing, as you know, Black girl, getting your shift together, it is a process. And I want to start with I created Love University because relationships mirror your trauma. That's what this whole conversation was about. Relationships mirror your trauma. And so I created a 3-step process, which I call the love revolution, honey, because we got to bring love back. We know how to
I
be
know that's
wrathful.
right.
We know how to be disconnected. We know how to blame and shame, but we got to bring love back, because that's really at the end of the day what we're all looking for. So the tools that I use the tools of therapy to teach you how to perform self-therapy and the power of spirituality, baby, to help you practice authentic self-love, cultivate divine self-trust. Not this, first of all, trauma impacts your ability to trust. Period.
Can you
Because
give
that
an
is
example?
what? Give you an example. Girl,
I mean,
listen.
aside from this
You can do a poll
topic,
right now, and I bet you every woman on here would say she don't trust. I don't trust no damn body. I like to do everything myself. I like to be in control because I know if I do it, I get it done right. Trauma impacts your ability to trust because you are in self-protection mode. You are living.
if that resonates with anyone, let Sarita know in the comments. Seriously, that whole list that she went down. Go ahead, sis.
Yeah, let me know.
We need to
Because
know.
trauma impacts your ability to trust, because what you've learned, especially if something happened when you were a child, is that the world is not safe, that it is not safe to be emotionally vulnerable.
Yeah.
So you tell me, do people trust? Really? What do you make people do? What hoops do you make them jump through to prove that they are valuable enough for you to give them your heart? Come on now. I thought I was vulnerable. I was fake vulnerable. Okay. I was like, yes, I'm loving. Yes, I was. Until you did some shit I didn't like. So that's why I focus on teaching women divine self-trust, because self-trust comes from within. When you know who you are, when you can trust your decision, when you are tapped into your intuition, you ain't gotta worry about trusting nobody else, because you trust you, because you know what you know.
Yes.
Because you honor that feeling that comes up when the red flags are showing themselves, and because you respect yourself enough to know, I know what I know, and I know what I'm in for if I ignore this. Because you know what is going to end in.
Wait, reel that back. I love what you just said. You know what you know if you stay in this. Oh,
You know what you're going to get. You know why you know? Because you've lived this shit already. You done did it before. You know it. It's a different form, same content. Different penis, same bullshit.
speaking of that, go to my YouTube channel. When you see Cerita's beautiful face in the thumbnails, we've done shows on generational trauma, toxic dick, part 1 and 2. What is it? What else did we do? The
Superwoman.
Black Superwoman complex.
Mm-hmm.
Look, and it all just
we went in. We went. I mean, and it comes back to this. We never really did anything in depth on trauma bonds. And can you put the my website so they can check it out?
Oh,
So,
honey, yes.
and while you're doing that, I just want to wrap up and say that with my 3-step process with the Love Revolution is I will show you how to reflect. Because when you expand your self-awareness, you can explore how trauma distorts, depresses, and disconnects you from yourself and your ability to give and receive healthy love. Because some of y'all love is very dysfunctional. And I know, because I was a member. I was a member of the dysfunctional club. Step 2 is revision. It's the do-over. Is you learn how to revise or revision your future. And that's because you've established a relationship with yourself, baby, your soul, the truth in you. And step 3 is to reconnect. And it's a return to wholeness, because you're already whole, but it's trauma that fractures your relationship with yourself. That's what we've been talking about this entire time, is what it looks like when you're disconnected from yourself. So I teach you how to own your self-worth, tune into your intuition, and honor your emotional needs, your spiritual needs, and set boundaries so that you can be vulnerable, because you can't have a healthy relationship without being vulnerable, and embrace more meaningful, intimate relationship, especially the one with yourself.
I love that.
Let me say this one last sentence. My process, and thank you. My process is revolutionary because you will become the soulmate that you deserve. Okay.
Is anyone else's soul vibrating, or is it just me?
That's the response I like, baby.
And you're going to get another response. I'm going to post it in a second. You're going to love this. But before I post it, I loved your number 2 about the revision.
Yes.
Because no one in this comment section, including us, we're not in our 20s or 30s. It's never too late. And Cerita, someone you and I both know, has proven that a couple weeks ago. Miss LG, it's never too late.
She talk about my mama. But
I don't want to say it without your permission.
In the best way.
Yes.
Listen, I'm a therapist, but I'm a hope dealer. That's what I do. I deal in hope, because
I love it.
It is, listen, as long as we breathe, and even then, I'm sure there's hope for redemption. But as long as we are breathing, it is never too late.
It is not.
To expand, to heal, to go beyond what you've experienced. And that's why I really had to own my spirituality with my process, because you are more than what's happened to you, more than what you've done or what was done to you. Because there is an essence within you. There's a truth within you that not only is capable of healing you, but for you to tap into that wisdom, for you to connect and understand what your purpose is beyond trauma bonds, beyond trauma patterns and bullshit and the things that you are unconsciously doing to hurt yourself. You
Oh,
can heal. You just need the tools because you already got everything within you to heal. You just need to learn how to tap
absolutely.
into it.
That's right. I love that, tapping into it. Speaking of tapping into it, I'm going to read this. Attending physician said, I need and want help, but don't equate that with trust.
Tell me what you mean by that. You don't equate it with trust. What do you think she means?
I personally, because I personally think that she does want the help. It's just about kicking that door down, attending physician. And I'm trying to be careful with my words.
Got it, got it. Okay, well, we'll wait
Yes.
for her to respond because
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, and I don't want to make an assumption about what that means if you don't equate it with trust. Because if you need and want help, there's so many resources, including Love University. But I mean, we have a plethora of resources and therapists and counselors and support groups. So please, let me know so I can help you.
Yeah. This sister's smart.
I
Okay.
know.
I've talked to her. She said wrong. There we go.
Okay, I don't know what that
Yeah.
means. I don't know
Yeah.
what that means. So if you want to, if you're willing to explain a little bit about what you mean. I trust in the same thing person as my money.
Yeah, I definitely want to explore that, but I
Yeah.
can't on what I'm just reading. And I should have dropped the link. Ooh, I'm sorry, everyone. Yeah, if anyone would love to come on, even though we're wrapping it up, I should have dropped it earlier. My apologies. But attending physician, if you can peel back a couple of layers, I just dropped the link, everyone. But if anyone wants any more of their questions answered, I put Cerita's. Okay. Here it is. She just answered. She said, I was answering your question about all women would agree that we are independent and don't trust or need anyone. My simple answer would have been a no.
Now, I did not say all women because, of course, I can't speak for all women. I specifically was referring to women who have experienced trauma, women who are survivors of relational trauma. Because remember, I talked about self-protection. So the self-protection mechanism that will prevent people without getting help. And listen, I'm talking about what trauma research is showing and what I've experienced with most of my clients. There's always exceptions to the rule, and I definitely cannot speak for anyone.
Yeah, she said she's in the 1%.
Okay, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. So, as I was stating earlier, if anyone needs or wants any more of their questions answered, to please go to lovetoloveYou.com. If you can't remember that, I have already put the link in the show description notes. So all you have to do is just click on it and it's going to take you right to her website. And all her contact information is on there. So shoot her an email as well. She is very open, very understanding.
And if
Yeah.
you have questions, you can always shoot me a DM because I know this is streaming on my page as well. You can always shoot me a DM. The doors are open for a short time, and I work with Black women, so I would love to support you and love to have you. And you can try it out for a week without even having to pay. So I definitely want to see you in class.
Well, guess what? We have someone who is going to come on. And I love Patrice's voice. It's like velvety. I don't know. Miss Garner. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Queens. How y'all doing today?
Good. How you doing, Patrice?
I'm wonderful. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, hon.
Listen, this is such a great topic, and I'm so glad you ladies are talking about this because my question is, I'm older, right? So I've kind of, been there, done that, got the t-shirt, the whole nine, with men in relationships. But my therapy have taught me that having to come to terms with and dealing with my own childhood traumas prior to the relationships I got in once I became an adult played a major part in it. Whether it was sexual abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse, we need to realize as women that all those things play a part in it, emotional abuse. So for me, I literally had to have a breakdown, if you will, and to realize that, to have a breakdown, be hospitalized, and start therapy for myself as a grown woman, not realizing that I had buried all of those other traumas. And I went through my life like, I'm good, everything's good, my life's good, my this is good, and a breakup of a relationship, a 5-year relationship, is actually what caused my breakdown. And I speak very candid to it, to a younger generation of women that I know is going through some type of form of trauma and abuse from their childhood, and then they take that into a relationship. And like you said, Miss Cerita, we become codependents, or we turn into that narcissistic personality ourselves, and we wreak havoc in our relationship with other people. I've had to literally, I think I'm almost on, and I'm not a therapist or a doctor, but therapy and researching about narcissistic personalities, like I feel like I'm almost an expert in it now. And if I see early warning signs, especially from men, because men is more prevalent in men than it is
It
in
is.
women, and we
It
need
is
to see the
indeed.
warning signs of that. So the early warning signs, the red flags, the intuition, everything that we women have powers within us to use, we tend to ignore because we think we could fix a man. We think we can make it all right. And that's what I was saying about, like, I can't build a man no more. I got like I can't do it, because actually, in actuality, you can't. You only can change
Yes,
yourself. And then when
absolutely.
you change yourself, then your situation changes.
Speak,
So
sis.
we have
Speak.
to we have to learn that as women. And I had to learn that through therapy, because I think I would have went through my life just totally having that wall up. So I would just like to encourage all the women on your panel, in your chat, or anyone that's going through that. Therapy was the best thing for me
Yeah.
that I did to fix me, because I had to fix me, right? You know what I
Yes.
mean? So if I can't fix me, how can I help someone else and be a testimony for someone else? So
Yes.
thank you
Patrice,
so much.
You know
thank
what?
you
Thank
for coming
you.
in. I
Thank
mean, it's so
you.
courageous to put that story out there, and it's
Yeah.
so relatable.
Yes.
Ah,
Yeah, and we don't want to, because there's a stigma and a taboo of shame in the Black community, especially about, getting therapy, tackling, all of your traumas and dealing with that and speaking loudly and openly, because we kept it in so much inside, right? Because we thinking somebody gonna think we crazy, somebody gonna think we this or that. Child, don't worry about that anymore. We can't. I know I needed to fix me. And maybe it took that breakdown for me to realize that. So before someone else breaks down, I say, no, girl, you carrying too much. We carry too much as Black women already. So girl, don't carry that weight. Release it, let it go to therapy, because what? That's non-judgmental from an outside person. Right. So you don't have to worry about your family judging you, or your family, you know what I mean? So it's just like, nah, fix you, sis. Love you, and everything else will fall in place.
I love that. That's
Thank
right.
you.
Love you.
That's
Just like
right.
Sarita said, we already have everything we need inside of us.
Yeah.
Already it's there. And it's just about tapping into that. And when you said, Patrice, maybe it was the breakdown. No, I mean, that's what it was. But it's so good that you put your story out there so that people can learn to be proactive so there wouldn't have to be a breakdown. But
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think to no longer be ashamed or wear the shame or the guilt of your traumas is the best relief ever. Don't
Yes.
hold it in.
Shame lies. Okay. Shame
Yes.
lies. And it will have you trying to stay invisible. It will have you wear the mask. And see, I think that's for you. You could no longer hold the weight of that mask. And a breakdown on the outside can look, catastrophic, but inside it gives you a chance to really rebuild your relationship with yourself, because now you ain't got nothing else to hold on to. You ain't got no.
Absolutely. I got me, and look, honey, I said,
Exactly.
can't nobody love me better than me.
Exactly. And
Hello.
that's really the love that we need. And we get caught up because we're searching for that love in other people who can never fulfill that need from
That part.
childhood.
That
You got
part.
to show up for you. They don't
That
have the
part.
capacity. They can love
Yeah.
you, but they can't love you enough to fill the void, the pain, the old wounds. That's your job.
Exactly. Yep.
that's your shit.
Exactly. Exactly. Look,
And
it's
thank
like
you.
own it, be accountable for it, and now fix it.
Right.
Yes.
Period. Period.
You
Period.
got to
Point
clean
blank.
that up.
And,
So
and, and
thank you,
then
ladies.
Thank
I
you. I just
appreciate
want to
you
say one
listening
thing
to
as
my
you're wrapping
story.
I just want to say one thing as you're wrapping up. I thank you, and I want to validate you if I can, because you are the example of authenticity.
Thank
And that's
you.
what healing gives you. When you can just show up being all of who that you are, it gives people permission to do the same. And you just did that.
You know what, sis? I'm so glad you said that about the authenticity, because listen, when you live in a lie and you're not your true self, it's so much hard work to do that. Now, since I released and I'm so real with things now, it's like, wow, a load has been lifted. It's like, I
Exactly.
wish I'd have done this 20 years ago.
Exactly.
If I'd have
right.
knew,
Exactly.
if I knew what I knew now, then, oh my God, like
Me
for real, for
too.
real.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why I had to shout you out and give you so
Thank
much
you.
love, because I
Thank you. And I
know.
appreciate you queens up here, because what you're doing, we need this. We need this. So please continue the work that you're doing. Please. It's wonderful work. It's healing. It's a healing process. And we all need that, because it's a lot going on in the world. And believe you me, the last year and a half have taught me anything, that when you locked up in the house by yourself or with your loved ones, you really got to look at each other then. You looking at each other now and learning things more than you ever did about
Ever.
yourself and them.
Look,
Speak on
Patrice
it.
is
That's the
preaching
truth.
something
I'm
today.
telling you. I'm telling you, Patrice. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you, ladies. Enjoy your weekend, and thank you for having me on your panel. All
Thank you,
right, sis.
Patrice. I'm reaching out to you, Patrice. I see you
All right.
way too much, sis. We're gonna
I'm
talk
in these
offline.
YouTube streets. I'm in these YouTube streets, sis.
We we
I
have a lot
love
of the
it.
same YouTube street neighbors. So
Exactly. Exactly. Thank
I
you so
love
much,
it.
ladies.
Thank
God
you.
Take
bless
Thank
care.
Patrice.
you.
All right. Blessings.
That was dope. That was so dope right there. Wow. I feel so full right now.
I do too. Like, we're glowing. That's the glow up, baby.
It's the glow up for real, for real. And it feels good. Oh, Sarita, you never disappoint. Ever. You really don't.
I try to bring the fire, that good,
Yeah,
good.
that good. You really did and do. We're going to wrap it up because I'm going to go play some tennis.
Well, enjoy, because I'm full and I appreciate you. And you already told everyone to go download the show, go check it out, follow the page, and definitely check out Love You.
Yeah, attending physician said, good stream. Thank
I love it.
you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
If you all would love for Sarita to come on again, put a light bulb in the comment section.
They about to light it up, baby.
Light it up, light it up, light it up, light it up. Yeah, this is some good stuff. And any parting words?
Parting words. Be gentle with yourself. I know that with trauma, it's not everyone, but a common symptom is shame and self-judgment and self-blame. We talked a little bit about it earlier. And when you can practice self-compassion and kindness, you absolutely set the stage for you to show up for yourself. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're looking for is love. And you can give yourself the love that you need, that to create emotional safety, to heal, to break up with someone, to start a new relationship, whatever it is. You have the love and the power within you to do it. So just take care of yourself.
And love on you.
Love on you, baby, because you deserve it. Okay.
Yes, Professor Love. So you already got a light bulb. So that means you have to come back.
Thank you, Patrice. I love it. Well, I love our time together and I love our conversation. So I'm down. We can put it on the schedule.
Let's do it. And I'm glad you said that, because there are a lot of sisters that were on here. Anyone who's listening now or in a replay, contact me. My email address is in my DMs. Everything is open. Let me know if you have any show topics that you'd love for me to discuss with Cerita. Whatever resonates, and if it's relevant to this platform, I will definitely make it happen, because this sister is extremely resourceful and she's very giving. So those are going to be my parting words.
I love it. And definitely you can leave comments on my page as well. And Ursula and I speak on the regular. So I look forward to it. I love this. So, and amazing. I love you, Ursula. Have an amazing tennis. What is it? Tennis practice today?
Drills. I'm doing drills today.
Awesome.
You know what? I'm even gonna play in my shirt today. Wait.
Hi, represent.
Yeah, I'm gonna play in my shirt because I'm feeling myself today. I'm feeling this stream.
I'm telling you, I love it.
As a matter of fact, I really am. So
thank you everyone for joining us. I'm so grateful.
Yes, thank you all for joining, and we'll see you on Wednesday. We're going to have Lori Scott. She's a transformational life coach, and we're going to talk about the power of gratitude.
Oh, I love it.
Yes, she's an amazing sister. You know what? You all have a great weekend. We just set it off right for Freedom Friday. You all have a good time this weekend. Take care. Bye.
For the queens, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and booty walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun-kissed goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti, black girl magic, melanin popping, whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, dog. When God God made you, boo, you know he showed out. Mahogany enchantress, blessings overflow now. Picture of success, seductive silhouettes on a spiritual quest. Manifest and be blessed. Mother, sister, auntie, tribe of Ashanti. Rocking your locks, I got a close crop blondie. The curse and the gift, uplift, apply pressure. Nothing like a black girl getting a shift together. Nothing like a black girl getting a shift together. Nothing like a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting they shift together. Black girls are getting they shift together, man. These black girls are getting they shift together, man. These black girls are getting they shift together.